Hello and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia. I'm your host. I got a really fun show planned. Tonight I got an artist I've been wanting to talk to for a long time. I actually have known him. We were trying to figure out how long I've known him for, but because of the way conventions happen and doing different things and life, I don't really get to chat with him, and I haven't seen him literally in years. So this is going to be exciting to catch up and talk about some of his projects. He's got some really cool stuff going on. So I'm getting ready. Sorry, just please join me in welcoming him, Anibal Arroyo. All right.
What's up, Mike? How's it going, Mike?
How you doing? Doing good.
Pretty good.
Before we get started, I just wanted to put in the chat, which we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, your Facebook page, so people can follow you and find out more about you. So you guys, it's in the chat now. Feel free to check out his page, his work. Go friend request him if you want to, like, follow, however it works for him. All right. So first off, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I've been looking forward. I've been wanting to reach out for a while, but sometimes it's hard, with getting booked. And I'm happy. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago that we were doing Catch the Craze together? And
it was a week ago.
Yeah, about a week ago, and then we said, hey, let's do this.
Thanks for accepting my party crash. I basically invited myself on.
It's okay. It's okay.
It felt
I'm
like
very
the
happy.
right time. We were all moving and chilling in the chats. I threw it out there.
I just want to say hi to Mike Lopez and to Mike Wilkie. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So yeah, let's start with how I always start these interviews here. Tell us a little bit about your background. Like, when did you get into comics? Not professionally, but when did you start reading? When did you start liking them? And when did you start drawing?
Wow. Okay. Comics for me, comparatively to like some of the guys I hear on all the time here, for me came rather late. I didn't get into comics, like reading and collecting, till about sophomore or junior year in high school.
Okay.
I was a Marvel guy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I'm a DC guy, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think I heard you say that before.
Yeah.
But I knew the characters. I was into DC as well, but through the cartoons. I grew up in that era. We both did with the Saturday morning cartoons and after school stuff. So that's how I got introduced to the characters, was on the television shows. With comics, I believe the very first issue that I picked up and looked through, I've told the story before, but was a Amazing Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane in the 300s. I forget what number it was, but it was the one, I believe it was the one right before Mary Jane and Peter got evicted.
Okay.
A buddy of mine brought it to class and was showing it around. And I've always liked to draw. I've always been drawing since I could hold a pencil. That's so cliche to say that, but it's
the way it was for me. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
And just off of the stuff I was, exposed to with the comics, I've always had a very active imagination, and I've always liked to draw. So the two just kind of came together for me. And ever since that day, in sophomore year in high school, I started just creating my own stories and characters, and it's become what it is today.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so obviously, Mcfarlane, it sounds like, was an influence on you. Were there any other people any other artists or writers that you can point to and say, these influenced how I work?
Here's the funny thing about me and Mcfarlane, though. Like the way that I was earlier, I had earlier artist influences. I really loved Frazetta and Boris Vallejo. Like,
I don't know how to say his last name too well.
Yeah, I think it's Vallejo. I'm not even sure either. But that, I was into like the Conan and the Tarzan stuff, and I liked all of that fantasy art, and it's very photorealistic. So when I saw Mcfarlane stuff, I did like the layouts and the design, but I always had a problem with the way he did the cartoony faces. It just kind of after a while, it kind of grew on me, and I was like, this guy's fantastic. This guy's dynamite. as far as like other comic book artists that influenced me, definitely in that era. You know, I got into the Marvel comics right before the Image Comics thing took off, right?
Yeah.
When Todd and Rob and Mark and all them were still part of Marvel. So that was probably like the late 80s is when I got into. So I followed that group of guys into Image. And then I was all about the Image Comics.
Okay. All right. Before we continue, I just want to say hi to Alfred Reed, who's in the comments there, and Jason Salazar.
Oh, that's my boy. Yeah. My Air Force buddy, Jason Salazar.
Really? Oh, you're Air Force? I did not know.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. He's actually in Texas, so you know we all know how the tragedies that happened over there. Hopefully he's doing okay now. Shout out to you, buddy.
Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope everything's okay down by you. What does he say? He said, Josh, who's that? Joshua Nash says, "Hey guys."
Josh, Josh. You gotta know Joshua.
I gotta, you know what? I'm better with faces than names sometimes.
Always so I need to mentions. Yeah, he's a good.
Yeah, I'm probably definitely seen him.
He actually he brought an ad from us in a magazine we published a couple of years ago. His story was called Syringe. That's one of the things that he was promoting, and good guy. I can't remember everything he does, but yeah, really good guy.
Awesome. That's good to hear. So I always like meeting really good guys. So anyway, with getting back to you here, so you had this info, and I'm a Frazetta fan. I like Boris's work. I always leaned a little more towards Frazetta due to it was a more painterly style. When you look at Boris's work, I felt it was more illustrative, very much Ken Kelly. Not the same, but Ken Kelly looked like you were illustrating. Frazetta looked like he was painting.
I like to think of Frazetta style is basically what you're saying. It's a more loose, kind of organic. With Boris, his stuff is so tight. It just literally looks like photographs a lot of times. With Frazetta, it's like you see it's a painting. And it's very loose and organic. And I'm a fan of all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, me too. I got my Fire and Ice piece back there, and awesome. And I got a few others I want to put up, but when you get close to it, you can see all like his strokes and stuff. Even in the print, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So Joe Ryan's in the comments says, "What's up, guys? I'm tuning in tonight. Thanks for tuning in." And we also got Christian S. How do you
Chris
say?
Alawaz. He was with us last week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, but yes,
Chris. He did the how to live as an Indian, as a freelancer. He just had that book out. Cool. Chris.
Yes, I think I've met him, I believe.
Yeah.
Goes, Boris worked from live models. That's why they looked more stiff than Frazetta.
Yeah, of course.
True. Frazetta worked from his memory. So
Frazetta worked from his wife, sometimes from himself, and from his memory. If you look at a lot of Frazetta stuff, his face is the bone structure. You could see it in the paint. It's him a lot of the times, and his wife is some of the females too. So yeah.
And Michael San Martino says, "Hello, fellow indies. Welcome."
Mike, what's up, buddy? That's one of my co-workers at the post office. Good guy. He's also a creator. Hopefully one day, all these podcast shows he can be on.
Hey, let me, send me work. I'd love to see it. I'm happy to bring people on.
I'll definitely.
Yeah. So when you started drawing all your life, you got into all these artists. So you were really like into fantasy work and fantasy art. And that was, and I've seen a lot of your work, especially the stuff that you post, and it always does have a bit of a fantasy feel to it. Yeah. You tend, from what I see, you tend not to do more superhero work. You're definitely more fantasy in the stuff. Yeah. So what was your? Let's talk about you getting into comics. What was your first actual project that you did, whether you got paid for it or didn't?
It's funny talking about fantasy. My first official, indie comics self-publishing gig was with the Catch the Craze guys, Crazy Comics. I had just come out of a long tour at I forget where it was. Where was that? A military tour. I had just come off of that, and I just started doing the convention scene and met up with these guys, and we got along really good. And the opportunity arose for me to work with them. And at that point in time, honestly, and even sometimes even nowadays, I don't really, not that I don't care about money, But if the project is fun and good and looks like I'm going to enjoy doing it, money kind of takes a back seat to it. Honestly, like that's just the way I am. And the very first project that I worked on was the one that's currently going on Indiegogo, Forbidden.
Let me give you the full screen. Hold on. Let me give you the full screen so you can
go
see
for
it.
Yeah.
All right.
Bam. And the interesting thing about this piece, this is actually my very first published printed anything. This is a promo piece I did for it, so it's very near and dear to my heart. Yeah. And I'll keep.
And we're going back like 10 years on that, right?
More than that. Actually, wow. This was. I'll tell you right now. Oh man. There's a date on here somewhere. 04.
Wow.
2004.
Man, that is far. Yeah. You guys, just so you know, and I'm looking for the link right now as we talk. That book, Forbidden, is up on. Is it Kickstarter now or Indiegogo?
It's an Indiegogo.
It's an Indiegogo. Yeah. I'm looking for the link right now.
They're almost at their goal, by the way.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I will say I donated. I was one of the people who donated to it.
On that probably tonight.
And I don't know why I can't find the link. I know I shared it on my page here. Yeah. But you guys, I'll find it. I'll put a link in the comments at some point.
I'll definitely be sharing and posting more.
But it's totally it looks fun. It's a high fantasy, I would say, right?
Oh yeah, it's like a sci-fi fantasy because it's got futuristic elements, it's got modern day elements, and it's got old world elements all kind of gelled into one.
Yeah.
And again, like as I told you before, I was a fan of Conan. The Beastmaster was one of my favorites as a kid.
I still love Beastmaster. I just watched it like a month ago.
No, I saw it not too long ago myself, man. And that I actually recently saw what's the one with Val Kilmer where he's like this. His character's name is Balmardigan with the midget. Willow. I saw that recently too. I love all that stuff. And Forbidden had elements of that or things that reminded me of those things, and I immediately jumped on. I was like, I gotta draw this. This is too much fun, you
know. So I just want to go to the comments.
Sure.
And we got Alfred saying very impressed. Sorry, somebody else posted it. Just jumped up. Hold on, let me just pop it up here so we could see it. He says very impressed with Anibal's Wolverines and his work on drawing hands are amazing.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
Hands are very difficult.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a very crucial element for our medium. You got to know how to draw hands.
And Christian put the link up to the Indiegogo.
Oh, good job.
Thank you for putting it up. I'm going to copy and share it because we are on other, what's the word I'm looking for? Other, streaming sites. We're also on YouTube. Hello, who's this here? Digital Villain. Hello, Crazy Comics. I'm pretty sure.
Good guy. Yes. Another good guy.
And he says Forbidden was so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out when I get my copy of it. But it looks good, and that's why I donated to it. I mean, it looks like a fun story. The art is fantastic in there. And the story just sounds very interesting. And I love fantasy. Like you, I grew up more on superheroes than fantasy, but I've always been a fantasy guy. I've always loved like.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the men in tights. I love me some superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you could see my back wall there. This spot over there.
Let me give you the room.
See that? The Spidey, and then on the other end over here, you can't see it, but I have like my whole figure collection there. I'm a superhero guy. I believe that's where it all starts. The love of comics.
Yeah.
Superheroes is like the jump off point. It deviates later on as you mature and your tastes kind of change a little bit, but the core of it all, for me at least, it started with the superheroes.
Yes.
I also look at like fantasy guys, the muscles and all those are kind of like superheroes.
Yeah.
Like more reality based, but they still are kind of superheroes.
Yeah. I mean, everything it really comes down to how you're clothing them and what weapon you give them, I think. It's
the ratings might be different, right? Yeah. G-rated versus, R or whatever, So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Loincloth or tights.
What? What was that?
Loincloth or tights.
Loincloth or tights, yeah. I mean, it's funny because, fantasy for me, and you were mentioning you grew up on Saturday morning cartoons. I think we're around the same age. I don't know who's older or younger, but around this. Okay, you're 2 years older. I'm 45. Yeah. So, like my first introduction to comic characters were Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing with fantasy, like Thundar the Barbarian, and even going into the Smurfs, like that's fantasy. Like those type of worlds were,
all that stuff.
You know, Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Watch that too.
Yeah, you know, He-Man, like all those things just really,
yeah.
really influenced what I do, and I think that's I think a lot of us were influenced by that. It's just the direction we.
I think watching He-Man actually prompted me to learn or to start drawing muscles and you know, muscular characters just off of that cartoon. You know.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. They're same for me. Like in a lot bigger, my characters started to become, you know. And then for me, it wasn't until we got Batman the Animated Series when my style really, it was like I always say it's Bruce Timm meets the Smurfs or my style, you know. Anyway, let's get off of that. I see. And maybe we'll talk about Forbidden a little bit more because I would love to promote it more. And we, you know, and I know we can totally just do a whole hour just on them. But I will say Sam Vera, who created Forbidden, will be on the show in a couple of weeks. You know, before the Indiegogo ends. But I want to talk. There's a poster behind you I see called Little Steve's Closet.
Yes,
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. Well, that is while I was with the guys, I got to give you a little bit of the background, so set it up. Originally, we were part of the Catch the Craze crew. That kind of deviated and morphed into Mass Media Studios, which ended up being myself, Jonathan Syfax, and George Medina. From that, after pumping out, and I'll show you pretty much everything we did, we cranked out a couple of issues of Jonathan's Street Journal. I don't have that on me right now. And just title after title.
Hold on, let me give you the screen so that I can see these better. What's that say? Hot Tails, Badass.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm a fan of anthologies.
Yes,
I was pretty much a solo guy on that. The crew wasn't really behind it, but they were behind me, so they supported the whole thing. And I basically, you know, I was the showrunner on the series of anthologies. This is the first one. Here's the second one. Each of them had a separate theme. I just want to promote these. This was all about, you know, hot chicks who kick ass, basically. How better can I say that? This one was a little bit more general audience based. It's a little more fun and, you know, a little more, I don't want to say cartoony, but it had that kind of feel to it. And then the very last one was a horror theme, which horror is like, I'm huge into horror. This is probably my favorite out of the three. And actually, this is my artwork on the cover. This is really interesting. This is actually an art jam. Everybody who had a story in here did a character of their story. Gary Camp, he did his character from Mala Noche. Let me see if I remember everybody. That's Joe Holly there. Man, I forget this kid's name. He went to the Cuber school. Can't remember his name. He's doing his thing in Cali now. And basically, I got everybody. It was a pain in the butt chasing these guys down to try to get them all together to do this, but we got it done and it came out great. But getting back to the original, after doing all of that,
I just want to say Joshua says dope cover. I don't know which one he's talking about, but totally, you know.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah,
thank you, buddy. But after doing all that stuff, the very first solo project I put out was my own kids book, and it was done under the Mass Media Studios banner. And it's basically it's loosely based on my own son, who was at the time about the age, you know, of the kid here in the picture. He is now 22 years old, so he's not little Steve anymore. But it was a fun project, and I am till this day I actually reignited the interest in it. I kind of just let it sit in the back burner for a while, and I've recently landed a publishing gig with a publishing deal with Dark Fire Press, J.M. DeSantis's imprint, and where you see it back in print. So. That's
awesome. I look forward to it. I mean, first of all, I got to say, JM is, you know, he's a friend of mine here. He's been on the show a few times. He's been on my Saturday storytelling. He is doing super great, not just with his books, but bringing in creators. You know,
I'm always impressed by what he does, man. He's such a together guy. You know, like he's like that. Yeah. That level you want to reach to aspire to be like. You know what I mean? He has it together. He's always been so. professional. Like even just when you see him at the conventions, he's always wearing like a button-up shirt and a nice vest. He's so perfectly like GQ, and that's the way he runs his business too. Everything to the letter, and I really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
And he's a fun guy to be around.
Oh yeah, I love chatting with him. The first time I had him on the show, because we don't get to talk or hang out, I think we went for like 2 hours, and the majority of it was just us like sidetracking in our conversation.
I can imagine.
I just want to go to some of the comments. First of all, Christian.
Yeah.
He says Bruce Timm meets the Smurfs. I smell a crossover. That could be good. Jason says, is there something unique that you do in your drawing style that when we see it, it automatically knows it's you? Kind of like, I guess it's you. I don't know if he was talking to me or you on that, but when I see your work, I know it's you. When I pass by my work, I feel the same.
I think George Medina, not to cut you off, Mike. George Medina and a few other people point out I always do good hair. Like they always say my hair always shines. Like they look like they're using smooth conditioner and so I that's kind of become my trademark, I guess. Like when you see the character's hair, you kind of know, hey, that's an Anibal piece. So
And Joe Ryan says working on anthology is a great way to break in.
Absolutely, I agree.
He also says he's working on 2 of them. When Joshua answers the question about the dope cover, all of them.
All of them. He's the man. Let me tell you, Mike, about Josh Nash.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me tell you how cool he is, dude. Look, listen, I met him on, I think it was on social media. I don't remember if I met him at a convention. The bottom line is we barely knew each other, and when me and the guys at Moss decided to put our magazine together, this thing here back in the day, we were selling ads for it, and he was one of the first people to just say, "Here, take my money," without knowing. Like we weren't like this big legit corporation, that you could look up. Like we were just 3 guys out of my garage, and he's like, he's such a cool guy. And anytime I ever see him at a convention, he shows us love, and it's like one of those people you feel like you've known forever. Such a good guy. Hey, my sister's on. Wow, cool.
Thanks for watching, sis.
Yeah, sis. Hey, say hi to E for me. And the boys, say hi to little E friend.
Super proud of my big bro. He's always been talented. Love little Steve.
Thanks, sis. Appreciate it.
And George Medina is here.
Man himself. Oh, all right.
All right.
Now it's a party.
Yes. So you did Little Steve.
Yeah.
You want to give us a little idea of what Little Steve's about?
Sure. Yeah. I'd be glad to. All right. Again, I got to take it back. It originally started as a high school class project back in like junior year, I guess it was. It was like I went to an arts high school. Rosa Parks School of Fine and Performing Arts is the official name of it. I don't even know if it's still in existence. I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. That's where the school is located was located. And we had this English teacher. He was the coolest. He used to come up to school with like this big Harley, and he'd have like the cool shades and everything. But like when he took off the leather jacket, he was suited up. So he was like GQ, but he was also hiker. His name was Mr. Mullen. Really cool guy. Anyhow, he gave us this project to do, and I decided like we all had to make our own children's books.
Yeah.
So my story was about this little boy who was fascinated with dinosaurs, and it's kind of like a riff on that old that Brady Bunch episode where I think it's Bobby. He has this dream where like he meets his favorite what is it?
Oh, is that the one where he meets Joe Namath, right?
The point was he met somebody that he really loved. But it was like a big scare. He was robbing a train. I can't. Anyhow.
Oh, Jesse James. I know.
I think it was that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm a Brady Bunch fan, so.
Yeah, I was too. So it was kind of in that realm. So the little boy's, he loves dinosaurs, and his mother tells him to go clean his room, but he decides, he's gonna pout and lay in his bed and be rebellious. So that's where it kind of takes off from there. Like he opens the closet door and he enters this fantasy world. And this is actually the very first. Yeah, I'll show you guys real quick. The very first time when he opens the door, that's what he sees. And obviously, I'm a big dinosaur fan. huge
Yes.
Jurassic Park fan, especially the original series, you know, the one back in the 90s. And this is obviously inspired from that first sequence where you see the giant brontosaurs walking across the screen.
And it's gorgeous art too.
Thank you. That's all hand painted. I used what do you call them? Water dyes, basically like watercolors. I'm sure you're familiar. A little bit of colored pencil and ink with that.
So you're all traditional. You don't use the computer for anything.
I see. Recently, I'm taking classes. I'm going to school to try to finish my bachelor's degree in illustration.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm considering teaching. I'm looking into that route. But I'm mostly traditional. You know, I also sculpt. I don't do that much these days, but I've recently learned Photoshop, so I'm delving into the digital now. So I kind of do a little bit of everything, but I do still prefer the traditional, like to start with. But so that's where that story took off. So now it was reignited due to, you know, the connection with JM. Once he provided the platform for me, I was like, why not? And it's kind of the thing to do now. Everybody's just kind of self-publishing and putting their work out there, and it's become a lot easier and more acceptable, I guess you could say, to have crowdfunding campaigns. And for any future projects, which I have tons, I'm now reconsidering actually, you know, putting something out there again.
No, that's great. And we'll get to that because I'm going to want to hear some of your ideas.
I don't want to veer off too much. No.
I'm happy to talk about that stuff. So this book is now with JM, with Darkfire Press.
Currently available. Yeah,
it's currently available. So if you go to darkfirepress.com, you can get a copy of this.
If anybody wants it, anybody on my Instagram, just hit the link in the bio, and it'll take you directly to the book purchase site.
Oh, I didn't share your Instagram. What's your Instagram account?
It's @Arroyicus.
Is that what you have on the screen here?
Yeah. Yep.
Then I'm going to make a post about it.
There it is.
So, Instagram. Did I put a dot? Oops. .com/. ARROYOCUS. I just want to make sure I spell everything correctly. Okay. A link to his Instagram is now in there for everyone to follow. And I'm not sure I follow you on Instagram, but I will now, definitely.
Yeah, I think I've seen you. I don't know if you're under your name or if you're under the Get In Tune.
I'm under my name, but I hashtag Get In Tune all the time.
Okay, yeah, that's probably
yeah. And I gotta say, like, ever since I started seeing your work, I've always been a fan.
Thank you.
It's it's really really great stuff. Like we were talking about classic, you can see the classic influences, the classic guys. What other stuff have you worked on that, I know you showed that stuff, those books, but have you done anything else, whether it's been sequential, just covers, anything else?
Oh man, this past 2020, like during the summer, I did about 3 covers, 3 different projects for 3 different creators. One of them is actually my buddy Mike Sammartino, who was on, I don't know if he's still on, for his book. He's working on putting it out. It's called I always forget the name of it, and it's such a great title. Technogods. I worked on for his issue 2 of Technogods. Do you know who Louis Cruz is? Cruz and Comics?
Yeah, I know.
Cruz and Comics. I worked on a cover for his novella, his novel, Rainbow. I don't know if you saw that. I don't think I even shared that, but
I don't know if I've seen that. But I know his work.
Yeah, and something else this year. I can't remember what it was, but I promote myself as a freelance artist, and I do a lot of commission work. That's kind of like, I guess you could say, my bread and butter right now. Since I'm busy with school, I like to just do projects that I'm in and out really quick. There's no long-term commitment, you know what I mean? As in sequential or narrative artwork.
So says your digital work is on point.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And you said it was Michael Sammartino, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, Michael, if you're still watching and you have a link for this stuff, put it in. Let my audience know about your work.
Get on that, Mike.
I'm very happy to always promote books. So, always promoting indie creators. That's what I'm here for. This is here, Gilbert. What does it say? Oh, this is a question we were going to get to. How long does it take for you to complete a page of sequential art?
Okay, that's a great question. For me, honestly, and a lot of guys probably say this, it depends on what's going on that page. Like, I can tell you if it's 3 panels of like headshots, I can probably lay that out in maybe an hour, ink it in another hour, and if I have to color it, that's another hour or 2 on top of that. So
Yeah.
there was that. But if it's a very complex scene, you got buildings, you got different angles, you got some action going on, that could take, if I had a straight day of work just where I didn't have anything else to do, that could be like an 8-hour work day, depending on, again, how complex it is. But normally I try to tie myself to keeping it to I'm rerouting my drawing style. Like I can't share yet. I'm working on a project that I'll be putting out in the future, and I'm streamlining it. I'm making it, I don't want to say simple, but I'm taking out a lot of the time consuming elements of it while still keeping it me. And I'm able to draw faster that way. I'm getting through it a lot faster. So
That's great. That's great. We also have another question. Where do you find your commission clients?
Oh man, all over the place. I was telling George, I think personally, and this is a tool that we all have always had access to, even without digital. Word of mouth is like the best way to get yourself out there, like get people to talk about you and talk about, your projects. A lot of my projects and clients come through, social media for free. Facebook, I don't pay for a website. I don't pay for any services. And once I get one, I build a rapport relationship. They come back to me, and through them, they might, recommend me to somebody else, and so on and so forth. Sometimes I'll take a commission school year if it's something easy and what I consider easy and fast, because I don't promote myself to do commissions while I'm in school. It's too much to do. But if the money's right, if the project is right, I'll take it. So I get stuff when I'm not even looking sometimes. And it's funny the way that works. I get more stuff sometimes when I'm not looking. When I am promoting, nobody wants anything. But that's the way it works.
That's the way it always is.
That's what I do. That's I just build my rapport with people, and it kind of springboards from that.
That's fantastic. I mean, commissions are always fun. Now, about I want to talk a little bit about how you work traditionally versus digitally a little bit, because your book, Little Steve's Closet, there, you did that all traditionally.
Yeah.
And there are things I've been seeing you post of color. I don't have anything off the top of my head, but they almost look like you're traditionally painting. Are you doing any form of digital painting, or do you paint traditionally?
I do both. Let me see. I posted up some stuff where if it's comic book or graphic novel related, that's all done traditional line work. I scan it in and then I digitally paint. I figured if I could do on a computer what I can do with traditional medium, paper, pencil, paintbrush, and all that, then I'm good. I'm okay, and it seems to be working out for me. Like I apply a lot of the basic knowledge of traditional to the digital, and even if I don't know what the name of the tool, that little squiggly thing that does this or what, I know to go to that tool to get it to do what I want. I don't know all the terminology or what they do in it, but I know if I needed to do this, I know that tool. I go to that tool. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it right now, and it's been working out. It's I don't want to say it's been a smooth transition for me to go from traditional medium to digital. The reason Little Steve was done that way is because back then I had no clue about digital. I was like completely digitally incapacitated. So I did come to learn it. And looking back, I probably, honestly, the way I was coloring that, it probably still would have taken me the same amount of time, just because of all the stuff I was doing with it. I still would have to do. Digital is faster in some regards, but it's also it can take longer, because the way I look at it is you have so many more options available to you that it can, there's more decisions to make now. You can change the color. Certain things can go fast, but other things, you just open up this whole thing where it can actually extend the length of time you're working on, at least for me.
Yeah. Okay, we got a question. So from Jason Salazar, do the young kids coming up only do digital? Will traditional medium become a thing of the past, like vinyl records?
Oh, I hope not. Oh man, I won't let it. I'm gonna stop it.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna take this because I actually work with kids. I travel sometimes before the pandemic. A lot of kids grow up these days traditionally. There's a lot of kids I work with who already have their own iPads and Apple Pencils, and they're like in second, third grade, But I've also taught college, and I sometimes still guest lecture and stuff. And one of the things I hear a lot from people, from the kids in college or young kids, is they could only draw digitally. And I'm like, no, that's impossible. If you can only draw digitally, you should, you can't draw. And I don't want to come across that way, but when they say that, I feel it's you're scared to make a mark on paper because you don't have that undo button.
Right.
You don't have the smoothing option to make your lines smooth.
Yeah.
And that's what I get. But then there's lots of kids who just give me a pencil and paper and I'm happy. I don't think traditional ever die, but professionally, I think more people will eventually move towards the computer.
Oh yeah.
I'm the type of guy. In front of me, I have my Cintiq. I use that to do my work on. I have my drawing table next to me. I sit there and I sketch and I come up with ideas. I photograph with my iPhone. I airdrop it to my Mac. I open it in Photoshop or Clip Studio, and that's where I will work out the actual character. Yeah. But I never work just straight digital unless I'm just kind of screwing around on the computer and then go, oh, I got something here.
Right.
I'll never let paper and pencil go. And I think you could see, digital has gotten better with the tools with tablets like a Cintiq or a Huion or, XP Pen, whatever device you're using where you have that tablet. Yeah. A monitor tablet, not the one where you're like looking at the screen. That's a disconnect.
That's so annoying, right?
It is. But but when you have something like that, you can almost, if you don't turn the smoothing on, you're not constantly hitting undo, you're getting those little hand errors that you would get doing it traditionally that makes comics, looking at the art like really interesting, because then I'm like, oh my God, right. I could see where they made the mistake or where they tried to cover it up. So and by the way, vinyl records are making a comeback.
Oh,
they're So Jason,
I know what he meant when he asked the question.
I know what he meant.
That's a poor example because vinyl is in again. So
yes, it's very popular again. But yeah, it's cool. But yeah, that's my answer. I don't think traditional will ever go away, but I think professionally, at least in the comic field, we're going to see more digital work coming out. Especially with web comics like on Webtoon or Tapas or wherever. Yeah. Even if you're doing Instagram, it's working digitally just saves you time. And that's what it comes down to. It's a time saving device.
Absolutely.
If I could, I'd work traditionally nonstop. I just would.
Yeah.
But, I love that I can get work done quicker now and do other things just because I have devices like this here.
Yeah. You should teach a course, Mike, like an online course. Do you ever do anything like that? I'd be your first student, man. You're making all these tools like smoothing and all this. I'm like, what is this smoothing? What is that? I'm gonna go look that up later. I definitely am gonna invest in one of those Cintiqs. So I'm looking.
We'll definitely talk. I can tell you about the stuff, and I do private tutoring. Just
okay,
so
there it is.
I actually haven't taught an online course like straight through where it's just me. Companies have hired me to do things, but I have been thinking about starting something, or at least putting courses together and putting them up on like Gumroad or something for people to download. So Mike Wilkie says, I don't think I'll ever go the computer way. Now,
I used to say that too.
Yeah. Well, let me explain. Mike Wilkie is is a cartoonist who does a lot of he does single panel gags. His stuff is very simple in design, and it's and he colors like with colored pencil or marker. There's a look to his work that I think if he went computer, it wouldn't look like Mike Wilkie work anymore.
Yeah.
And I would never want to see his work on a computer. Computer do. The only way I see it's on a computer.
That's funny. You bring that point up. That's one of my biggest gripes about digital. And it's not with everybody, but being that everybody has access to all the same tools and, all the same program, a lot of stuff stops looking personal, or it all kind of starts looking the same because everybody's using the smoothing tool. Everything's shiny. So it's very easy to get sucked into that because it looks great. You're like, wow, that looks so, look the shine on that glass or, that metal. And more and more of that is coming out. And I'm noticing it a lot with you know, the big two, the big guys. That's kind of like their look now. You know, the house look is all that flash and gleam and, you know, that digital stuff. And I personally feel that's not that's a detriment. That's not, you know, that's taken away from the creative element, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I won't say creative. I don't want to have go into this because we can sit and talk and debate on this for a while. I have embraced the computer. I love the computer, but I'm just going to end it by saying I'd rather be at my drawing table all day long. That is much more fun for me. I love having graphite on the side of my arm here and hand. You know, that's how I want to do it.
Right.
Just professionally, to meet deadlines, to do things, the computer is a tool that becomes super helpful.
Yeah, I totally get why.
So hold on, let's see. Joe Ryan says, I'm a traditional artist and at heart, and I love this stream. Well, thank you for tuning in. He's a regular viewer, and I always appreciate Joe and having him watching and commenting. He's a graduate actually from the Kubert School himself. So.
Oh, no kidding! Wow. Okay.
What year? Oh, Joe, you're gonna have to say. I don't think it's been long. I think it's been maybe in the last 5 years, I believe. Wow. He said it. He told me once.
Okay, I was there in '98, but yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I didn't go to the Kubert. I wanted to, but I didn't go. Back then, I don't think, or they were just getting accredited for an associate's degree officially. I think was it. I don't remember the time when I was looking at them. He said 2018, so yeah, not too.
Okay, yeah, that's years after, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're sidetracking. I think by then they might have been accredited. I don't remember why I didn't go. Oh, never mind. It was my medical issues. You know, everyone who watches knows I've had 2 kidney transplants, but had my first one at 18. So. I was choosing between Kubert and SVA, and then I had to be close to the hospital, so I went to my local community college in the beginning. Anyway, so let's get back. I don't want to. This is what happens when you go on, especially with someone you haven't talked to in a while. You just kind of just sidetrack a bit. So. With your work, the work that you're doing now, and you said that you have ideas to kind of self-publish and go that route.
Yeah.
What sorry, I want to say this properly without I don't want you to give any spoilers, but what kind of work are you doing, and how long until we could see samples of something coming our way?
Okay. It's funny. I actually have been posting and sharing some stuff related to the project I'm doing. It's all related to my graduation, my senior thesis project. I chose to do a graphic novel, and I'm currently working on it. It's a story I've had for a couple of years. I was writing it and creating it on and off as I'm doing everything else. And then I finally decided to make it the senior thesis. So for everybody, it should be probably approximately a year from now. Should be, at least artwork wise finished. As far as like getting it printed, published in hand and all that stuff, that's still, undetermined at the time. And then once that happens, I am thinking about possibly putting it on one of those crowdfunders we talked about earlier, thanks to, just watching, a lot of the guys doing it now.
Yeah.
Reignited my fire for the whole crowdfunding thing. So, that's kind of, without letting too much be known, that's one of the projects I'm definitely putting out.
I actually just went on your Facebook page. That's why I was looking down at my monitor here. And, I'm seeing some work. And there's like this, I'm looking at something from February 22nd. It's kind of like a brute looking guy here.
Oh, that's okay. I put myself into like a commitment with the a sketch a day thing for the whole year. I don't know.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, Joe Holly, really good guy too. He's also a self-publisher. He does this thing where he fills up these sketchbooks with a sketch a day and he just posts it. And I've been slacking. I miss days, but I'm down here and I'm drawing every day. It's just I'm not doing the sketch a day every day. So whenever I have time in between, actual projects, I'll throw one up there. That's probably one of the last ones I put up there.
Do you mind if I share the screen and show it?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Okay, share screen.
Let me see which one it is.
Let's go to the application. Right here. Oops, share. Okay, so this is the one I was looking at, and I mean, you had something before it when I scroll up, and this is what, Forbidden? Or
that's a Forbidden promo from 2005, I think.
That's more Forbidden.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you guys donate, this is the type of artwork you're gonna be seeing and getting. These I love looking at. These are what reference work, kind of planning out some ideas.
That is behind the scenes towards another class project I'm working on. I'm creating a deck of cards in Illustrator. That's just the layout for the colors and that kind of thing.
I gave that assignment.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to give.
I'd love to see what the students came up with at some point.
This guy was really interesting.
Oh yeah, I liked him. Yeah. That's probably my last one of the sketch a day.
Yeah, I think it was
daily sketch.
Because then you promoted this show here.
Yes, sir. It is.
So, but yeah, I mean, you guys like him on Facebook here. You guys follow him here.
Yeah,
friend request. He's got some really beautiful stuff. Was this the magazine?
That was a promo for the magazine we did. That I showed you guys earlier.
Yeah. A lot of studio pictures.
Oh yeah, I'm always in here.
Yeah.
Always in here.
No, this is nice. Is this
that's my senior thesis project. That's a promo shot of the main cast of the story I'm working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'd love to talk about it more, but
no, I get you.
For now.
So, we got. I'm just looking. I love looking at your work.
Thank you.
So, and here are some of those beautiful hands that we were told about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do hands like that either. I literally go very cartoon, but you and I have a different. We kind of talked about it. It was last week on on Catch the Craze, and what happened was you asked me a question which I thought was very interesting. What you asked me was, can't remember how you worded it, but it was, do I like more happy stories or whatever? Because
you were Batman bashing, dude. So my mind immediately went to okay, he likes cartoony stuff, so of course he's not gonna like super ultra realistic gritty Batman, but
no, well, we won't go into our debate. You guys, if you want to
go into it, man.
No. You guys, if you want to see the debate and people not agree with me at all, go on to the Catch the Craze YouTube channel after this and check out that video.
But you were saying, do you think that that's possible, that the correlation is there? Is there,
like I said on the show,
you wanted to disagree, but you couldn't. You said,
I don't know if I could, because I'm like I said, I with my reality, I hate to say it this way, but it is kind of illness. Am I eating right? Am I taking my meds? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? So for me, having reality is thinking about my health constantly, even though I try not to make it about that's what my life is about. At the end of the day, what am I eating for lunch? Whatever. And am I getting enough exercise? Am I doing this? All that stuff. So I have health things. So when I go into stories and I want that escape, I don't want reality. I don't want to believe I can walk down the streets of New York City and see Batman. I want to see him, and it doesn't have to be in the tights or anything, but I want to see a world where I can believe that this superhero is real, but it's not what I need to see every single day, if that makes sense. That's it for me. I want to that's how I want it. But like I said, I'm a big Disney geek. I've been to Disney World 15 times. I love I'm on Disney Plus a lot, especially with WandaVision.
I love Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah, me too. It's fantastic. So, as as I look at that and what we were talking about, I don't have an issue with dark or gritty stories.
Right.
I have an issue when they take characters that are not. And I'm not saying Batman's not supposed to be dark or gritty. When they take characters and you lose the essence of who they are because they're trying to make a film for Blockbuster, like a summer blockbuster. We need to sell tickets. We need to sell action figures. Let's sell toys. We look at, say, you know, and we use Batman. And I said he's not
Batman's
Batman.
the go-to guy.
He's gadget guy. That's what he is. He's not Batman. You know, he's a guy with gadgets, and he could be anyone. Just remove the bat ears and the bat symbol, and he's the same exact hero. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like about the movies.
Right.
So
it's like it's what from what I'm getting, they're focusing on only one element and one aspect of this broad, complex character, and the reason they're focusing on it is because that's what they believe sells. However, there's a lot of guys that think like you that want to see brainy, you know, detective Dark Knight Batman in effect that maybe they're not considering, which I think they're taking care of with that Robert Pattinson version.
I'm hoping that,
I'm hearing he's going to be more that guy. The
and I'm hoping because you could do, Batman would fit great in a pulp, universe, like some kind of pulpy type of world.
Yeah.
And you could. I would even watch it if it was in black and white.
I'd love it in black and white.
Make a black and white Batman. Give it the pulp feel, like the old, old movies.
Absolutely.
And just do that. I think that would be a fantastic. Make it dark. Make it. You can even add a little horror if you want to. Not that he's a horror character. But
okay, let me ask. Besides the cartoon version, do you have a favorite Bruce Wayne in the live action?
Live action, and I'm gonna go not Adam West.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about that would be not
in his own category.
Yeah, that was a special thing.
Yeah.
Of the live action actors, my favorite Bruce Wayne was Val Kilmer. I think he fit the description of Bruce Wayne the best.
I think it was Ben Affleck. The smooth, pretty boy, the way he approached Wonder Woman in that museum sequence, he was like flirting with her. He was cool, calm, and he had that imposing physique at the same time. Mm-hmm. I believe he's also the best Batman.
I do agree. I think he was the best live actor.
Nobody's gotten it right. The closest, I think, in terms of Batman getting it right, I thought was Christian Bale, but it's a toss-up between him and Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's Batman definitely equals Christian Bale's Batman, but Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne can't do it.
Yeah,
he's not Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he's too thin. The whole thing was the suit for him.
Yeah, he's just goofy.
Yeah, I just want to add this comment here that Joe Ryan said. All day I wasn't feeling very the creative vibe, and this stream has inspired me to draw tonight. So I'm very happy we could do that for you, Joe. Thanks.
Happy.
Thanks a lot.
Happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I know we've been sidetracking a lot.
I don't mind. Hey, I sidetrack all the time. I got projects all over the place I'm working on.
Yeah, no, same here. I look around.
No matter what track I'm on a project.
It's funny because the way my studio's set up, I might have a few things on the table behind me.
Yeah.
But it's nothing I'm ever working on. Everything is a mess. Right in front of me here.
Same here.
It's the mess. No one sees everything I'm working on.
Behind the scenes. Oh, man, you got to take us through the studio one day, Mike.
I can do it right now if you want to.
Hey, go for it. Do it.
I've done it on there.
Let's see what you got.
So,
oh man, awesome.
This is my.
Oh, I love the collection. Zoom in on that. That's so cool.
I'll do the best I can. I'm on my. This.
That's great, man.
But my drawing table down here is a mess full of stuff.
Yeah.
I got my little mini figures there. I got this whole section is a tribute to Hanna-Barbera.
Nice.
Of their pop figures as we move around.
Is that a Yoda figure on the wall there? What is that?
A what?
That's a Star Wars figure, right? Back there?
Yeah, that's Mandalorian.
There we go.
I got my Calvin and Hobbes print of the very last Calvin and Hobbes.
Nice.
I got my
the genie, the Hanna-Barbera genie.
Yeah, I got the Fantastic Super Adventure? Yeah, Shazam.
Yeah, awesome.
There you got
that's man, the Herculoids.
The Herculoids. All those.
Yeah, you're taking me back here. Birdman.
I got some. Those are some things I got in Disney World because I like the graphic design of that. As we're moving on, that's Red Hot from the Droopy cartoons. That's her dance cycle behind it.
Nice.
As we move over, which I can't even know if I can, I got more stuff. The first big print is a Sergio. Oh, not print. That's an actual Sergio Aragonés that I love.
Love it.
I got an Adam West underneath it, and I got
who's that tall figure? The tall figure back there in the dark blue. It looks like Bruce Lee.
No, that's the Phantom.
Oh, damn! Back here. Okay, yeah. Oh, I see it.
That's
Yeah,
the
the
Phantom there. I got my Green Lanterns,
Lantern.
my
Yeah.
Mouse, my
I love all this stuff.
Lord of the Rings there, Mario, my Uncle Scrooge snow globe. So this actually, I'll take this down for a second. A friend of mine, David Hardy, drew that. I colored that for him.
The
So it's
original
based on the
Superman.
Kirk Allen, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we come down here, and we're on my Cintiq with all my notes. And that's your page that I was on with your printer. And then we
Very nice, man.
Yeah, then we go to my backside here, and there's a Mickey Mouse mask. That's a Dino. I think that's a bank. I don't know. My cousin got it for me. Mr. Incredible, Mario. I got my Jose Garcia Lopez prints up there.
Oh yeah, I love that guy, Superman. He kicks ass.
I got my more there. Another Mandalorian. My Lord of the Rings. Caricature by Bruce Blitz up there. My poster of what's it called there? The Smurfs and Fire and Ice.
Who's the person flying over there over the in the middle there? There's somebody taking flight right there.
Right where?
It's like a female.
Where?
Right above the Lord of the Rings.
Right above the Lord of the.
Well, right next to that.
No. That's another Mandalorian.
That's not okay.
Yeah, and that little Indians a piece my grandfather did years ago. It's a copper engraving.
Nice.
And then we go over to my other bookcase. You see my lights and my Flintstones and my Dumbo and Pinocchio pieces. I got my little Batman, Superman, and Robin die cast up there on the door frame.
I see him.
This is. I try to keep my studio as very little of my actual artwork, because at the end of the day, I don't want to look at my work.
Really?
I want to look at people that inspire me, who made me do my work.
Okay, it's funny. I always say I'm my biggest critic, but I'm also my biggest fan. Like,
I agree.
I'll look at stuff from even the forbidden stuff and just be like, wow, I did this. Oh, some of it doesn't hold up. I've gotten a lot better over the year. We all do. We grow, but I'm like, some of this still holds up. Like, I impress myself sometimes.
Well, it's funny is I'll have something I posted on Instagram, and I'll scroll through. I'm like, wow, that's really good. Then I look at mine, I see it's mine, and then I look at it, I'm like, oh my god, there's a mistake. And I'm like, why did I post this?
Same here. Let me ask you this, Mike. Was that the first time you did that whole room turnaround thing like that?
No, I've done it a couple of times.
You have? Okay, that's the first time I've seen you do it. So I'm glad I was a part of that.
Hold on, let's see. We got Jason. Is there a character, a comic character that a guilty pleasure that you hate to admit you like?
You go first, Mike.
Oh, I'd have to think about it. A guilty pleasure that you know what? Let's just take a couple of questions while I think about the comments. Joe Ryan says, "Love your collection, thank you." And Christian says, "You play with those?" On occasion. You
have to. You got to pose them. You got to.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'll look at the little minis and the top rows, all like Warcraft little mini figures, and I'll just take them and I'll use them to inspire me on fantasy and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so, is there a comic character that you have a guilty pleasure you hate to admit?
I'm trying to think of one myself.
Yeah, it's hard because I don't hate, and like. I don't want to say I don't hate characters, but or
a guilty.
It doesn't matter to me what I have in my hand. If it's a comic, I'm going to read it. And I'm not a horror fan, so I don't really look at horror books. Okay. And that's just because I have a crazy imagination and I don't like to think about the dark stuff like that.
AKA, you scare easy.
Not that I scare easy. No. I'm just saying. It's just I don't like to look at horror in drawing or in video. I don't like. It's just not a subject I enjoy. I like suspense over show. So a lot of people
suspense.
Yeah. So a lot of people in horror tend to want to just show and kind of try to be as over the top or as scary or as whatever. I don't need that. Give me suspense. Give me suspense. Let me play with it in my imagination.
You need a burp.
And
I'm on live. I'm on live, dude. Back up.
Did you hear it?
No.
You know, I'm trying to look at one of my bookshelves here to see if I have a character.
Go away.
What do I have here that? Yeah, I don't have anything that's a guilty pleasure. I mean, I like, you know, like you saw my Calvin and Hobbes print. I'll pick up Calvin and Hobbes and I'll read it, and that might be a guilty pleasure of mine because I just really enjoy Calvin and Hobbes.
I thought of a guilty pleasure. It's not necessarily a comic, but okay, yeah, you might relate to this.
Okay.
All right. I recently I stopped watching it now, but I'm gonna get so much flack for this. I got into watching, and you're gonna laugh your ass off, The Vampire Diaries.
I'm not gonna laugh.
I started watching that. I was like, it's kind of good. It got a little too soap opera-ish because obviously the audience is catered to it, you know, teeny bopper girls, you know, with all these pretty guys and all that stuff. But some of the elements within that I did enjoy. I mean, it
had interesting concepts. And I'll tell you this. I'm one of those people. I love story. For me, it's about story.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a conversation with a couple of people about this earlier. It says, I don't care what I'm looking at, TV, film.
Right.
I love story.
Yeah.
So I can get into a show, you know, I'll watch a movie, a superhero movie, but then I can sit down and watch This Is Us or something and kind of get into it the same way.
Right.
You know, one of my favorite shows of all time, and this is something I'll get made fun of for, and you guys in the comments go with it.
Let's hear it.
Little House on the Prairie. One of my all-time favorites.
I loved Little House on the Prairie, bro.
It's on regularly. I have the DVD collection.
Laura Ingalls was my hero. Oh my god,
it was fantastic. I was a big Michael Landon fan. I loved Victor French, who played Mr. Edwards, and then they did Highway 7 together. You know, sometimes I'll pop the DVDs in and I'll watch in here while I work. But
I love Little House on the Prairie. Oh my god.
If I catch it in my living room, I'll sit and just watch like a marathon of it. I love that show.
I love it.
What else?
You just brought it back. I didn't expect that one at all.
I love you. And to me, as a storyteller, it's one of my favorite shows because there's so much story. If you watch it, I think they started in season 5, maybe doing this, or 4, but shows stopped becoming about the Ingalls for a lot of times. It was about their neighbors, because you had all these characters that had the same struggles and different things. Like you didn't need to watch the Ingalls struggle. You could watch, you know, the Olsons or whoever it was go through their struggle.
What I really liked about the show, now you're reminding me a lot about it, is the way that they kind of took you through their lives. And as they got married and had their own families, they kind of showed their life. You know, Laura had her own husband, her own kid. And it was like a reality-based reality show before reality shows. You know what I mean? And it was like such a well thought out series that it made sense that they would progress the characters the way they did as they aged, as they would in real life, you know?
Yes. And it was great. I think that's probably a guilty pleasure. Comic wise, I don't think I have a guilty pleasure. I'll read whatever comic.
Yeah, I can't either.
But you know, like I can sit, and I've been, you know, my wife used to make fun of me, and then she was like, this isn't a bad show. Not that she didn't watch it as a kid, but she's like, come on, it's 2020, 2021, you know, why are you watching Little House? And
hey,
you know,
man, some stuff is just, you know, it transcends time. You know what I mean? Some stories can transcend time. Yeah, that's definitely one of them.
Yeah, and I think people can still relate to them. You know, and it's great. I don't know if there's any other shows I can say I have guilty pleasures about. I'm sure there's tons I could say. I get made fun of all the time when I tell people. They're like, "You watch that? You watch that? Yeah, why not? Why not? You know, I don't care as long as it entertains me."
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you another one, and I'll tell you why. This was a show I would never watch, like intentionally sit down and watch.
What's that?
But it was Gilmore Girls.
You got me there, bud. Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Never even seen.
But I'm like you. I never would have watched it.
Okay.
But at that time that it was like getting popular, I recently broke up with an ex of mine. And I moved back into my parents' house. Okay. And whatever channel was airing, it did like a weekend marathon, and I didn't give a crap. I just sat there and I kind of vegged out and just had it on. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I got into the show. But I don't think if me and that girl ever broke up, or I didn't come back to my parents and just sit watching.
You never
to this day, I probably never would have watched the show.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, but that's the reason. That's the reason behind it.
See, for me, I grew up with I grew up with 3 sisters, so a lot of television shows and things like that were on at the moment where, you know, it was girly stuff. So I got into, like, you know, back in the day, 90210, you know, Beverly Hills 90210, and that, and not the stories. Like, for me, I think it's more about the characters. If I love a character, you could put them in any shitty story. I don't know if I could curse, but
you did.
Story, and I'm probably gonna watch just because I love the character, and I became, you know, kind of into the characters, and that's kind of it goes into comics and everything that I watch and what I do. If I love the characters, I'm pretty much gonna follow them along and see what they do with them. You know, that's kind of my thing. But growing up that way, it's like you learn the differences between what's catered towards the females and what's catered towards the boys, you know. And for me, I learned to appreciate both, but I still have the stuff that I kind of keep close to heart, which is like pretty much the opposite end of everything you like. And the reasons are, it's kind of a parallel, because I like to also escape, and I look at, you know, entertainment and comics and movies as a form of escape in my own reality. But it's like, I don't mind if it's ultra super violent or ultra super realistic, because I know, you know, these are things that are not happening in my, you know, everyday humdrum life. So it's exciting. You know, there's an element of danger there that I know I'm never really going to be in that danger, but it's the voyeuristic side. You know, I like to peek in on it without actually being involved. That kind of, so it's kind of the same thing you're saying for different reasons, you know?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I can totally relate. And don't get me wrong, I love the cartoony stuff like Scooby-Doo and the Smurfs and all that, you know, the early 80s stuff. Love all that stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they're all good. They all have their place for people. There are things that I loved as a kid today that I literally can't watch.
Same thing.
And it's very upsetting. And you know what? I'll tell you one of them. People get angry at me for this.
What's that?
Thundercats. As a kid, I love Thundercats. I don't think it holds up. I find it boring now.
I got one for you. The original Voltron. I tried watching the original Voltron. They redid it back in 2016. That series is awesome. I don't know.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
It's so good. I tried to watch the original. After I saw that, I was like, God damn, this is like, it doesn't hold up like what you just said.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, when they redid Thundercats, I didn't like them.
I didn't catch it. Yeah.
You know what? The reason I didn't like it, I'll tell you this, is because what happened was, you know, when you looked at the original, they had the Sword of Omens, and this was this great, awesome sword, and then all of a sudden it became there are all these different jewels, and like the Eye of Thundera, I don't know if it's jewels or whatever, is one of them, and Mumra's sword has one of them, and Rotaro's sword has one of them. Okay. So it's like they're trying to collect, and I'm like, I didn't like that. It kind of, to me, lowered what it was. Joe Ryan says one of my favorite comics is The Mask. Are you talking about The Mask that was put out by Dark Horse that, you know, Jim Carrey played, or are you talking about Mask, the cartoon that you and I grew up on, where it was the Mobile Armored Strike Command? Christian says Astro Boy still holds up. I agree. I love Astro Boy. Jason asks another question. He says, who do you think the next big artist that people do not know about, or someone who is what's that say? I think underestimated. Yeah.
Underestimated.
Yeah, and should know. Do you have an artist like that you follow, or?
Wow.
Okay, Joe Ryan says Dark Horse Mask.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I can't think of any names now, but I've seen some of these young guys coming up now that are just like on you know, bubbling just to get discovered. You know, like they're on the verge, and I could tell that they're going to be big. Definitely. Yeah,
I will say I have a friend. Okay. I've never mentioned him on here, but I think his work is fantastic, and he could, I don't know if he could become the next big thing, but he could definitely become popular.
Right.
His name is David Abrava. Okay. David has done some beautiful work. He's working on a project. If you follow him on Instagram, you'll see some gorgeous stuff. I mean, he can draw anything, but he's got a great style that is definitely mainstream.
Yeah.
But at the same time can fit into an indie world, you know?
I'll look him up. I'll definitely be looking him up.
Yeah, David Abrava, I think he's an up and comer that I think people should be watching out for.
Yeah. I was tempted to say Anibal Arroyo.
I was gonna say that too, but
go for the joke.
Not a joke, dude. Your work is great. You are someone. Once you start getting the comics out and people start seeing what you're doing, I would totally put you in that list.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that coming from someone with such experience and all that background. You teach, you do it all, man. Appreciate that.
Thank you. It's funny. I haven't really done comic work like full time or regular in a long time.
Same here.
I've mentioned that this. I was hoping to do it for the summer, but it looks like it's going to be in the fall. I'm going to be bringing out my character Dax Photon, and it's going to be a webcomic that'll come out for a full year. And actually, it's going to be a little over a year. I believe I read the final script today that my friend wrote for me, and I believe it's 56 pages.
It's a web comic.
It's going to be a web comic. The goal was to do it 52, so it ran for 52 weeks.
Nice.
But now it's going to be a couple of weeks over. Not big deal. The idea is to collect it, put it up probably on Indiegogo with other stories of the characters and some other stuff that I want to do with it. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to drawing it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to write it, so I said I don't want to write this. I asked a friend. He wrote an amazing. Seriously, I don't know if I would have written that well.
Yeah.
I told him what I did is I said, this is my plot. These things have to happen.
Right.
You're the writer. These are the characters that have to be on.
Yeah.
That in there.
Let me ask you. So, do you consider yourself like an artist who writes, or?
I'm more of an artist who writes than a writer. Well, maybe I'm a writer who draws. I don't know. I have always considered myself a storyteller, but I've always seen it as a visual storyteller. So whatever I do, so like if I'm animating or if I'm editing video, I'm telling stories. It's just done visually. Gotcha. I just want to say, Jason Salazar says, "Take care, guys. I'm late for work again, sitting in the parking lot." Well, I'm glad we made it. Good luck. Hope you don't get in trouble.
Yeah, he's a nurse. He works a very important field, man. Take care, Jay.
Thanks for tuning in.
Go save those lives.
Okay. Joe Ryan has a question. He says, I have one last question. Okay, you're not allowed to ask any after this. Do you think webcomics have to be drawn digitally? I'll let you answer first.
I don't think so. I don't see why it can't be done traditionally and scanned. I mean, for something like that, it can work either way. But if you're going the route you are going, where it's eventually going to be published and printed, it kind of behooves you to have, I think, some traditional elements involved in that. Why not?
Yeah, I'll say to me, it doesn't matter. However, if you're using something like Webtoon as your publisher, who doesn't really, your web publisher, that doesn't really fit the format of a printed comic these days, it's better to definitely have it spaced out that it's easy for you to cut up digitally and then lay it out for Webtoon. My Dax Photon is meant to be print. I'm drawing it as a print comic. I'm drawing it in Photoshop as a print comic.
Yeah.
But the way I've laid out my pages, I've kept it simple enough that I could cut the pages up if I decide to go on Webtoon without any issue and fit a Webtoon format. So that's my answer. But but like Anibal says, it doesn't matter as long as the comic's drawn.
It can work either way, yeah.
I mean, when I first did my Plunger Pup webcomic and I ended it just because of scheduling, that was all traditional. I did that all traditional, digital colors, digital inks. That's it. But I drew that all. I mean, I could probably, do I have it behind me here? Give me 1 second. I'll show you. I should have that near me. Which folder would it be? I always have so many things right behind me that I can't find it when I want to look for it,
Isn't that the worst?
It's my you guys all saw my art studio. You literally know I can sit in this chair and grab anything. now. Let me just take one more quick look. Did I put it up there? Okay, awesome. I have no clue.
Live stream, you gotta love it.
Yeah. Oh wait, what's this? What's this?
What do we got? What do we got?
I don't know. I'm gonna find out.
Let's find out. Let's show us.
No, not there. That's just paper and drawn. Maybe it's under between here. Do you know how many like drawing boards I have? And I literally got like 5 drawing boards right there. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I will show you guys. Very few people get to see this. This was the original ash can of Plunger Pup. This was my very first, if you want to call it, self-published piece.
I might have something from that.
You might have something like this.
Some of the promo pieces, yeah.
This is the second.
Yeah, I definitely remember the name of the character.
Yeah, this was the third. And then he formed his team, the Ridiculous Heroes. And that was these are my first 4 comics I ever made. And they came out between 97 and 2000. Let's see, what else do I got here? This was something I worked on and wrote. I drew the covers. Wasn't too great. But
fantasy
my friend and I didn't write. Well, my friend wrote one story. I wrote another, and we hired people to draw it. This is a children's book I illustrated.
Oh,
Brothers from Another.
Oh, wow.
What else do I got in here? Anything?
What else you got? What else you got?
Another promo Plunger Pup. Oh, that's Gracia Giggles. Those are my single panels.
Gracia.
Yeah. This is another Plunger Pup piece. This was a freebie I gave away. Where is it? It's my parody on Elvis called Pelvis Porkley. So he'd sing songs like "Cook My Steak Tender," "You Ain't Nothing But a Corn Dog." What else? I got a lot of stuff in here. Here's something I'm going to be redoing soon. Thunder Mark 7. It's a little just demo comic of about a planet.
I like the black and white style on that.
Thank you. And
yeah.
So yeah, it's basically about a family. It's like, what if the Swiss Family Robinson was on Voltron?
Nice.
Like controlled Voltron. That's kind of the story.
Cool concept.
So, yeah, thank you. And I eventually get to that. This is a dummy children's book I did in college. It's about it's from a South African folktale called The Monkey and the Crocodile.
Well, I thought I was the only one who saved all that old stuff like that. That's crazy.
Oh God, no! This was a class I took, and this I didn't put this together. I wish I did, but Tom Gill was one of my teachers, and somebody put this together. And Tom Gill used to work on the Lone Ranger comic book and all this stuff. And this was, I had some, everyone had a little bit of their work in there. I'm not going to show it because I think it's terrible, but I thought my joke was good. And then I got some pinups, things like that. I'd have to look through other books, but I have a draw of all my old stuff that I keep and constantly look through. Well, not constantly. Always right here. But I wish I had my Plunger Pup next to me to show you how I used to do it. I used to draw on 11. Oh, I probably packed it away in the studio, but I used to draw on 11 by 14 paper. Nope, not that. What I used to do was draw. I'd take 8.5 by 14 or 11 by 17, and I'd literally draw out a comic strip. And I'd pencil and I'd ink it, and I would do 2 per page. And then I would scan it in, I'd color it, I'd do my lettering, any effects, whatever I was doing, and then it went up. And this is the time that you could still do like comic strip style on the web at the time.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunately I'll have to pull those out sometime.
Why did that change, Mike?
It was the way the web changed. It was the way screen resolutions, how people were reading stuff. There's lots and lots of different.
I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist, even though I don't like to believe in conspiracies. Maybe it's their way of like kind of slowly shifting away from actual print to make everything digital. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Here's a little piece I recently just doodled. That's my Dax Photon character, all happy and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have tons and tons of paper all over this place with.
I'm kidding, by the way. I love conspiracies.
Oh,
And
no, me too.
I love to believe in them.
Oh, no, who doesn't? I mean, here's I don't know what the hell I was working on here, just some kind of fantasy-based guy, and
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I draw on this. Oh, this is terrible. A Riddler. I was working on, and I kind of messed up.
Looks like the '60s version.
I was actually going for the '80s version.
The '80s. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, we should be showing your work, not mine. So, you got stuff you want to pull out and show? I mean, we've been on an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we have been on a while, right?
I mean, if you need to go, I'll let you go. But I'd love to end it with seeing some more of your work.
Man, what could I show? You're gonna have me digging through stuff. I'll pull out some stuff I have really quick.
Yeah.
This was actually the book I was telling you about earlier, the street journal that I worked on with George and Jonathan at Mass Media. This is the very first issue. We did 3 issues, and then we compiled it into a trade.
Mm-hmm.
That was, what year was that? 2007, 2008, something like that. Okay, this was one I was a part of a museum art gallery show, and it showcased a bunch of different artists from New York, and they titled it Fuacata. It was an anthology. We each had a short story in there. I think they were all about maybe 4 pages max. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. And
it was a really cool project to be a part of.
Is that your cover or no?
No, this is one of the guys at Age Studios, the Montalvo brothers. That's the representation behind that. But I was in there. Look, that's my signature. I'm up there somewhere. There I am, Arroyo. And then, all right. And this is me. Sometimes I like to paint up and show off my muscles on the green. No, this I got at one of my very first conventions I attended. I think it was a Big Apple Comic Con. Lou was actually there.
I got stories I can tell you about Lou behind the scenes.
It was Lou Ferrigno was on one line, was on one side, and Adam West was on the other. Me and my cousin wanted Adam West first, but his line was so long, and we looked at Lou. Poor Lou, he had maybe like 3 people on his line, so I was like, let's go over there instead. So he was kind enough to autograph that, and there's a picture of us somewhere where we're like posing like this. We did a Polaroid and everything. He was really, really good guy.
He's a fantastic guy,
and
he's awesome. Very, very upset I never got to meet Bill Bixby. I was such a
same here. Yeah, I love that.
And not just even the Hulk, but the magician. Not even the Hulk, but the magician.
My favorite Martian,
all that stuff. He was fantastic.
That dude was an actor's actor, man. That guy knew how to do it.
Yeah,
but that's all I got right now.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I'd rather end on your work than my work right now.
I don't want to be digging all over the floor. Whatever's here accessible.
So Joe Ryan says, thank you for sharing both your honest opinion on traditional webcomics. You're welcome, man. Listen, we're here chatting, ask any questions. I'm happy to answer. My guests are happy to answer. That's what we're here for, just to have fun, talk about indie comics, and if we can help creators out there get inspired or feel better, because I know you said you weren't feeling too well today creatively, I'm thrilled I can be part of that. But I think we should wrap up. I'd love to have you back.
Yeah,
definitely come back. And we'll organize it better that you can pull work out. And we'll make it all you. We're not even going to look at my stuff next time. Everything I'm looking at is terrible, right? I mean, it's so.
Like real quick, were you ever into hip hop at all, or like?
No, I never really got into hip hop. This is something else that people are going to make fun of me about. Music wise, I was always kind of jazz, blues, kind of. I love classic rock.
Yeah.
Always been a classic rock fan. And I'm talking like even when it started, like 50s music, going all the way up to. I'm kind of the guy that, like, once it hit like 1998, I think I was done learning about new music. I'm like, I got enough in me. I'm happy. And
let me ask the audience. Let me ask, if you might not know, March 9th. What does that signify to anybody? Anybody know what is March 9th?
Well, Christian answer, because he says I was into hip hop and digital.
Chris Alwas, March 9th. What is the significance of March 9th? It's a very important date in hip-hop history.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, Digital Villain Studios, thank you for saying Michael Anibal Great interview. Thank you. I'm having a lot of fun. I hate that we're ending, but we have to.
The greatest rapper alive died on March 9th is one of the lyrics. That's a big clue. I'll tell you, it's the day Notorious B.I.G. got shot and murdered.
Okay.
So,
well, when you said, you know, someone died, I assumed it was.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. I still am.
I just, you know what, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get into it, and I don't know. I mean,
that was actually one of my notes. One of the things I wanted to bring up that didn't come up, so I had to make sure.
Oh, really? Well, you should have told me in the beginning.
No, it's better to end on that note. Actually, I wanted to throw it in at the end. So
yeah.
What else? All right. Everything else got covered. We talked about Dark Fire Press, Forbidden. Oh, I want to shout out my homeboy.
Okay.
A dude I grew up with, Daniel Mendoza. He's living out in Florida now. He basically, from what I've seen of his posts, he runs his own like UFC mixed martial arts gym. Really good guy. I would love for somebody to interview him. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. So
what part of Florida is he in? Do you know?
What's that?
Do you know what part of Florida he's in?
I do not know right now. Yeah, no, I don't know. But
well,
you
know what?
We're on Facebook and we communicate a lot, so I'll ask him.
Connect him with me. I mean, it's not cartoon, but I used to be big into MMA, you know, type of stuff. Yeah. I don't really watch it anymore, but like when it right before it started getting popular, I got into it.
Yeah.
And when it got popular, I followed it for a bit, and then I just kind of fell out of watching.
He's always a positive guy and a big support of what I do. He's always one of the guys that likes my work, and you know he'll buy stuff from me. Like, awesome dude. So yeah, I just wanted to shout him out.
All right, that's fantastic. Thanks for shouting him out, you guys. You know, if he has social media, you know, go. What's his name again?
Daniel Mendoza, but he goes by, I believe his name on Instagram is Def War or Daniel Def War.
I will look that up. All right.
Look that
you guys look him up too. Anytime my guest wants to shout out a person, I know they're good people. That's how I look at it, and you guys, I think, should be following them as well.
We go way back.
So yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for hanging out. Sorry we went a bit over than that hour we said it would probably be.
I love the impromptu stuff. I'm the kind of person, you give me a strict guideline, a schedule, I'll always veer off. That's just me, you know.
Well, you know,
I don't consider myself a rebel. I just kind of, wherever it goes, you know what I mean? So
I mean, yeah, like I said, we haven't really talked in a while, and you know, I haven't seen you in God knows how many years either. So it was very, very good to catch up. Definitely come back. Thank you for not just coming on, but for being a creative, creating work, helping others get work out there. It's people like you that allow not just indie creators to read, but everybody who's into comics and into different genres, you know, gives them a form of entertainment. And like with Forbidden, that you guys, again, please go to the Indiegogo and contribute.
Those guys, make sure you guys support the
Indiegogo. Something like that, you know, may have not gotten done if Sam didn't find you. You know what I mean? It was like the perfect project for you to show off your work, and it inspires.
I been introduced into comics, right? Doing something I love, like a project I would already love, you know, a genre I already love.
So, so thank you for coming on. I really want you to come back. Definitely have more to talk about. We'll definitely show off work. You know, we'll figure something out. I really had a great time tonight.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, I'm going to put you backstage, and I'll do my wrap up, and I'll talk to you in a bit. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really did have fun. I just meant everything I said. It's so great when you get to talk to people like Anibal, who you know, just is a cool person in general. But again, he's a friend of mine. I haven't had a chance to really chat with him, and you know, so if we sidetracked a little too much for you guys, I do apologize, but it was fantastic. Mike Wilkie says, great interview. Thanks. And thank you for watching the whole thing. Christian says, awesome interview. Thank you. Awesome show. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And same to you, Michael San Martino, who also commented, Anibal is the best in the biz. I don't disagree. You guys come back 10 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning for my Storytelling Saturday. And next week I'll have another guest on at 8:30 here Eastern on my Get in Tune. So watch out. Of course, follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. I'll be posting very soon about what my Saturday stream will be about. But I'm thinking, I haven't decided yet, but I might go full WandaVision and talk about the entire series, or I might just stick with some comic stuff I've been wanting to talk about lately. So hopefully I'll see you all on Saturday. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday. All right. Have a great night, guys.